Today I'm going to be going over a live trade that I took on Band BTC. In this live trade example, I'm using my simple support and resistance scalping strategy. When doing this, I'm targeting about 1.2% profit. And the reason I chose this number is because after fees, it comes out to just about 1%, which is a nice round number. You'll notice that this is a cryptocurrency pair that I'm live trading here. However, this strategy works with everything. Now, in different markets, you may need to adjust the percent target you're going for, your stop loss, etc. I'll walk you guys through my exact thought process before I took the trade, which ended up with me setting two different buy levels as one of them got invalidated quite quickly, as well as some footage of when I was entered into the trade and when the trade had finally ended. So let's dive right into it. I wanted to catch this trade live and it's coming down very quickly. Here's a live trade I'm setting up right now on Band BTC. So as you can see, I've already done the charting on this and I've found my favorite support and resistance lines. I've drawn them as these blue lines here. From here, what I did is I set an alarm just below where this previous low was right in here. So somewhere in the 9,700 range. And when we broke below that, I quickly came over to my computer to start filming this. As you can see, it's falling pretty fast and we're almost touching this first blue line. Now, as soon as my alarm hit, I took out my phone and I set up an entry right above where this blue line is. So you can see it's right at 94.99. Now I always set my bid just above where the blue line of support and resistance is. That's because I know that people are going to be sitting at that line waiting for an entry. It's a great support zone, and so many people are trying to buy there. So what I want to do is front run that by just a little bit. So to be exact, my order is at 95.12. So in an ideal world, this will come down, it'll fill me, and then it'll hit this blue support line that I've deemed as very strong, and we'll bounce right off of that. We'll actually just use it again as support, just like we did in this area, in this area, in this area, and all in here. The next thing I make sure of when I'm working on setting up a trade is that I have a stop loss in mind. Now I try to keep this around the 2.5% range, but my actual condition varies a little bit based on where the next strong support and resistance line actually is. So you can see the secondary blue line here. This is what I have written down as my secondary support line. So it's basically the strongest support I found below the current one that I'm buying at. You can see that we use it really strongly right here and all throughout all this area. Similarly to how this top blue line catches all the peaks of these moves, this bottom one catches a lot of the bodies of them as well as peaks of the smaller moves that are headed up towards those. So I'm going to end up putting my stop loss just below that blue line. Now if we go ahead and zoom in a bit here, one thing I do want to make sure of is that if we start to bounce and we move more than my targeted 1.2% above where we bounced from, and if that bounce is really close to my first line, I'm actually going to pull that bid. So you can see that we wicked down right to 95.70, and this is within 1% of my current buy. If we end up pushing about 2% above this line, up into this region somewhere, right where this strong resistance is, I'm actually going to consider this as a missed trade at first here. So if I was entered a little bit higher, I would have caught this, but unfortunately I miss this. And it looks like that's where we're headed. And even though this looks like a really small amount that we've bounced, we're already way past the amount that I would have taken profit on if I had been entering way up here. My target on scalps is about 1.2%, and now we're pushing up closer towards 2%. At this point, I'm going to deem this line invalid and look for something just a little bit lower. So if I zoom back out here, I want to pull this line down, and I want to make sure that I'm at least 1% below this wick now. So if I just pull that down, you can see that when we're zoomed out, it actually doesn't look that far off. However, I'm going to find a new spot for this top line here. And just looking at all these wicks over here, it looks like this blue line would catch this one really nicely and plays well as a support and resistance line as well. So now that I have my new entry established, I'm going to make sure my current order is canceled. And then step 2 is just set an alarm. If we start to break below this low again, I want to be told of this chart. Step 3, make sure my stop loss is still okay. If I pull this, we're only about 1.2%. That's not enough to really play a stop loss off of. So I'm going to go ahead and find a new one with this blue line as well. And just pulling down a bit here. And really this whole area has pretty good support and resistance in it. So I'm going to look right around 2.5% as well. I do like where this line ended up falling as it catches all these bodies in this small area. So just below that would be my next stop loss. As soon as this hits my alarm here, I'll end up setting another bid here, and then I'll be back with you guys. Just a quick reminder that if you do like this content, please click the subscribe button below. This helps me out a ton, and it allows new content to be delivered straight to your phone or computer as soon as it's available. Also, if you like this video and want to see more videos similar to this one, click that like button and let me know in the comments below. Okay, so I was not near my computer in real time for this, but I do want to show you guys how this ended up playing out. So I have this pair open again, and I'm right around the time frame that I turned off this video. I had set an alarm below this point, and I was looking for an entry right above this blue line, specifically at 94.14. Not long later, my alarm triggered on this. I ended up pulling open my phone, and I did set that bid. Right after I set my bid on my phone, I set another alarm. And where I set this was right above where my bid level was. Right at 94.15, just one sat above. I set this right above my price level because if you set it right at the level, you might actually get a partial fill and TradingView won't send you an alarm. So I want to know when I'm one sat away. This means I'm pretty likely to have gotten a fill by the time I actually check my phone, and if not, the price will have moved significantly far away and I can set another alarm. And not long after, the price did end up coming down and it filled me right above that blue line. So once I had this fill, I knew I had to set my stop loss and my profit target, which I do with an OCO order, or one cancels the other. I have a video explaining what an OCO order is, but just in summary, it allows me to set a stop loss where I want it and a profit target, and whichever one hits first will trigger. The other one gets canceled. Hence, one cancels the other. So I already had my stop loss in mind, and my profit target is always the same from my entry. I'm always targeting 1.2% above where I enter. So if I go ahead and hover here right at 94.15, close enough to 94.14, and pull this up 1.2%, and I actually do this on a calculator to be more precise, I set my sell right there at 95.27. So now, just in summary, I have a stop loss below this blue line at 91.27 and a profit target at 95.27 up here. I then set two more TradingView alarms at each of these price levels, or well, just one sat off from them, and I just wait until one triggers. And because I have this OCO order set, I actually don't mind going to bed in this trade. The worst thing that happens is my stop loss triggers and I'm out of the trade. Best case scenario, I wake up and I made money from the trade. So time went on this, and just playing it slowly, you can see that not too long after, maybe about an hour, we ended up peaking right in the 95.40 range. This was just enough for me to take profit. You can see how powerful it is going for just 1.2%. As this small blip in the market right here, this was enough for me to have a successful trade. Now, not long after that, we came down just below my other blue line by a couple of ticks, which would have maybe barely triggered my stop loss. But just to prove how strong this support is, look how much the price went up afterwards. Now, it's important to remember that the price change after our trade finishes doesn't matter at all. I'm only targeting this small blip in profit. I don't really care where it goes after that, and I don't care if it goes down 20% because I have a stop loss covering that. You're going to see this happen often where you enter a trade, you take a profit, and it goes up another 25%. Don't let this get to you, and don't change your strategy. It's important to stay consistent and keep doing it. This small win over time is huge, and it's what you are striving for. So let's go over a step-by-step summary of exactly how I enter and take trades. Step number 1, I find all pairs that are above 300 Bitcoin volume when I'm trading crypto. I add these to a wish list so that I can quickly scroll through them. Step 2, identify the best support and resistances close to the current price on your chart. Step number 3, set an alarm about 2% away from your top support and resistance. This is super helpful so you don't have to keep clicking through these charts all day, and instead you'll get a notification directly to your device. Keep in mind that if you're on a free version of TradingView, there's a limited number of notifications you can set. Step number 4, when that alarm triggers, you know it's go time. Take out your phone or open the website or desktop app and set up the bid. Step number 6, set one more TradingView alarm just above where your bid is entered, as close to it as possible, but not right on it, just in case you only get a partial fill. And step number 7, we're almost there. Now you've entered your trade as your alarm has just went off. Confirm that your full position was filled, and then set your OCO order. Your take profit is going to be 1.2%, and your stop loss is going to be right below your next best support and resistance line, usually about 2.5% away from your entry. And step number 8 is optional. If you want to know when that trade goes through, just set an alarm on both of those prices. So you'll set an alarm right at your stop loss and right at your take profit target. Then as soon as one of those two things hits, you'll know directly on your device immediately. Step number 9, buy a Lamborghini. Just kidding. If you're here for the get rich scheme, you're probably not in the right place. Trading is incredibly difficult, even though it may seem easy. It's not impossible to get rich, but getting rich quick is not going to happen. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you learned a little bit and can start to practice this on your own. If you're completely new to trading, maybe start paper trading and practicing this. If you've already been trading for a while and just needed some brush ups, then hopefully you can take some of these tips along your way. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.